this is Heather from CysterWigs, and this is another installment of Have I Got Nudes for You? And this is another nude eyeshadow review. Why do I do this? Well, okay, obviously I wear wigs, so I can change my hair color at any time, so, you know, that's not so much of a burden. But the issue really is that I'm super pale, and a lot of eyeshadow palettes that are marketed as nude or like neutral or like, you know, no makeup end up being really harsh on somebody that is as pale complected as I am. So let's review them, let's talk about them, and let's see which ones we can actually get away with at work, for Zoom conferences, or when we're just trying to, you know, look a little cute for the grocery store, whatever, as opposed to like full glam, full beat looks. Now I might look a little weird right now, and that's just because I only have base makeup on. If you would like to know what makeup I am wearing as my base, you can see that in the description of this video. I also made a full video about how I do the base makeup, so you can always check that out too. I'll try to put that like on the end screen or something. So first thing we gotta do is pick the palette. So if you've seen this series before, you know exactly what I'm about to do. I've got a basket full of nude eyeshadow palettes, and I'm about to pick the name of one of them out of this bag. They're all written on little pieces of yellow paper. So let's see what I'm running with today. Lancome Taupe Craze. Now, in full disclosure, I have used this palette. This is basically shopping my stash because it's not one of the ones I bought specifically for this review series, but I'm going to review it nonetheless. But spoiler alert, I really, really like these little Lancome palettes. So it's going to be a shamelessly biased review because I already know I like them. Let me show you what wigs I'm going to be pairing with this because, again, if you've seen this series before, you know exactly what I'm about to say, but let me say it for everybody who's new. Like, a good nude eyeshadow should go with literally any hair color. And since I'm a wig wearer, I have the ability to wear any hair color with it. So I'm going to do a warm color, a cool color, and a crazy color. So I'm going to use my Piper in Peach Bellini-R, which is a CysterWigs original piece in a CysterWigs original color. And this is going to be our warm color. I'm going to be doing Ainsley in Harlow Blonde, which again is a CysterWigs original. And I'm also going to be doing one that you guys probably haven't seen before. This one is really wild. It's probably the wildest color I've come up with so far. This is actually Ambrose in a color called Magenta Melt, which is so incredibly bright you could probably see it from space. So if this nude eyeshadow goes with all of these things, we will know that we are onto a winner. So let's do this. So let me tell you a little bit about this palette. And I'll probably show like some swatches off to the side in a split screen view while I describe what's going on here. So according to Lancome USA, these little Hypno palettes, and I'm probably pronouncing that really wrong because I don't speak French, but it's a collection of compact eyeshadow palettes, each featuring 5 versatile shades to create night to day looks in one swipe. You want to avoid having to constantly swipe. You also want to use really soft brushes too, little side note. Lancome's 5-color eyeshadow palettes are expertly put together to offer makeup lovers a complete day to night eye color wardrobe. You can almost hear like the cheesy 50s music, the ba da 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 stuff in the background or something. But let's see. With each palette featuring 5 shades that range from matte to metallic, all intensely pigmented and long wear to create both classic and playful eyeshadow looks that are easy to apply on the go. Carefully curated colors, step-by-step instructions, and 2 foam applicators allow for French-inspired luxury makeup artistry made easy. Okay, so it says that these are high pigment formula, deliver one swipe payoff and buildable intensity. Color looks true on skin, smooth and soft texture for easy application and comfortable wear, long wear, smudge resistant, flake resistant, compact size and mirror for easy application on the go. Okay, so it's got kind of mixed reviews. It's got 42 5-star reviews, 8 1-star reviews, and a few in between, but the majority of the reviews are positive. And by the way, like, I did look on Temptalia to see if anyone had reviewed these, and Temptalia does not review this palette yet at all, which is kind of baffling to me because I actually really like these. I did a little bit more of a deep dive into Temptalia to see if I could find a review of this palette, and this is as close as I got. Now, I've been told that there has been a reformulation, and clearly the packaging has changed substantially since 2011 when they first reviewed this product. And as I mentioned, when I first filmed the review of this product, they have not updated this for the newest version with the newest packaging. So take everything in here with a grain of salt, because this could be a different product with just very similar colors and the same name. You know how makeup changes. I am going to go down here though to where the reviewer from Temptalia says, with the exception of the liner shade, the other 4 shades had a very soft, smooth texture with nice color payoff. She loved the all over base shade, and the lid shade and the highlighter. I think that this last paragraph is really telling too. She said, I also know this palette invites a comparison to Urban Decay Naked palette. Now I have multiple Urban Decay Naked palettes, and literally none of them have the exact same tones as this Taupe Craze palette from Lancome. So I don't think that they're a good dupe at all. And she agrees. She says, this is cooler toned while Naked is warmer. The assessment of the colors of this 2011 palette are very consistent with my assessments of the 21 palette. Oh my gosh, so much time has passed. This is 10 years old. What? Okay. And you know, I feel like at this point I've got a pretty good frame of reference for this stuff, because I've bought a lot of higher end shadows like Tom Ford and stuff like that in the past year, and I've been really experimenting with a lot of these, you know, kind of known name brands. This is still something that you shouldn't fall asleep on, particularly if you are struggling to find a cool toned earth tone, not pink or mauve, eyeshadow palette. This Taupe Craze is a wonderful color story for cool toned skin. I like that you do get this metallic shade here, but if you don't feel comfortable using metallics, you get a little bit of a shimmer, which is a little bit easier to use if you have, you know, fine lines and creasing on your eyelid. This is a really nice crease shade in general. And then this, I actually really love this color, but I like to use it on the outside edge. I would definitely not use this as a liner because there's just too much glitter to it. Really, particularly if you have sensitive eyes or wear contact lenses, to use a shimmery color as a liner. I mean, you could do something like that if you use something like this in addition with it, which is the Inglot Duraline. Like, this is a liquid liner base that will turn any eyeshadow into a liner. You can put a little bit of this on your hand, a little bit of the powder, mix them together, and you could make that a liner, and then it'll stick, but otherwise you'll end up with fallout getting in your eye because it's got a lot of shimmery mica in it, and that may not be the best. So you're given 2 matte colors. You got this one here, which is the primer shade. You get this one here, the 4th one, which again, I would advocate for using as your transition shade, the one that you put in your crease. This one is a nice, forgiving, shimmery color. This one is a little bit more difficult to work with. This one in the middle, it's almost like a taupey silver color, real pretty. And then this one, again, looks daunting in the pan, looks very, very metallic and shimmery, but is more like a matte that has a little bit of glitter in it. But I wouldn't say any of these are necessarily like glitter colors. When I think of glitter, I think of bigger chunks. This is definitely fine mica, so I would consider all of these more of a shimmer than anything else. So let's talk about the packaging really quick before I move on to putting the eyeshadow on. And you can see it comes with like this kind of metallic silver box, and it has this really nice black plastic, doesn't feel particularly compostable or anything, sort of container here for this. The actual style aesthetic of the packaging reminds me a lot of what you'll find with like Dior, or what you'll find with like Wayne Goss's palettes, where you get this metallic silver box and you get the black plastic here. This palette is much easier to open than anything Wayne Goss puts out though. They're his compacts. I have one of his cheek palettes, I have both of his eyeshadow palettes, and they're like impossible to open if you have acrylic nails.
I'm a mess. Don't know how I got here, but I'm blessed. Didn't know it'd take me past my destiny. You're behind I'm a mess. No more you.
And I go home. You said things could only get better. I needed more than ever. They don't. How can I believe you when everything is secret, secret? Everything is secret, secret. No more, no more. Everything is secret, secret. No more, no more. Everything is secret. How can I believe it when everything is secret, secret? You see through, gotta make space for the new you, like I'm old news in your rearview mirror. It must be nice you went and got a penthouse, all your friends partying it's real loud. Brand new money with a brand new chest, still a baby bird right straight off the nest like you. No more, And I go home. You said things could only get better. I needed more than ever. They don't. How can I believe you when everything is secret, secret? No more, no more. Everything is secret, secret. No more. Everything is secret, secret.
So my full face is now on, and you know, I went ahead and just put this shadow on my upper lids. I didn't put any down here. I didn't line down below. I wanted to keep this really nice and open, though I did go a little heavy-handed in my crease areas, just to kind of show you that even if you get a little heavy-handed with some of these darker colors, that they're still really user-friendly. And as long as you apply them thoughtfully and blend well, the effect is still really pretty and user-friendly. And yeah, you could totally wear this to work. People would just think you look really cute. My take on that, at least. So let's pair this with some hair. So this wig is my Piper in the color Peach Bellini-R. This is the warm color that I'm pairing this shadow with. Now this is a cool tone. It is a taupe eyeshadow palette. And this is definitely a warm, deliberately peachy hair color. So does this clash? And don't pay attention to the green shirt, because the green shirt does not go well with the peach colored hair. I should have thought about that a little bit better, but whatever. We're here already. Yeah, I think that goes really well, honestly. I think that because this is a nice nude for my skin tone, I think that it isn't clashing. I think it goes really, really nicely, because this is just such a soft and sophisticated color story. All right, warm color achieved. Let's check out the cool color. All right, so this is my Ainsley wig, and this is in the color Harlow Blonde, which is a rooted platinum blonde mix. It's like a creamy beige blonde mixed with a platinum. So it's definitely got kind of a cool undertone to it. Oh yeah, this goes really well. It goes really, really well. It looks beautiful, and it should, because, you know, this is a cool nude color with the cool hair color. So yeah, it makes sense that these would go really well. So I definitely recommend checking this out if you are a blonde or a blonde wig wearer who has a cool skin tone, because Humana, right? It goes really nicely with this. Now this wig, on the other hand, I've got the heat on, so I have to zap it with some anti-static spray before I do any reviews of it, just because it's got some flyaway action going on. But for being right out of the bag, looks pretty good too. So hey, home runs all the way around. Now let's try the crazy color. This is Magenta Melt. It's real vibrant. I love it. Like I love all these pastels, and you can see I developed a fair number of them, but I was like, you know what? Not everybody's feeling pastels. Sometimes you just want something that looks like the color when you dyed it instead of what it looked like after the color faded. And that's one of the real advantages of synthetic hair, is that the color doesn't fade. So let's just run with vibrant. So yeah, we did that. I still think that this eyeshadow does not clash with this either. Now this color of hair will clash with just about anything. It's clashing with this sweater. You have to be really careful when you wear colors this vibrant, or just embrace the clashing as part of the aesthetic, right? It's got kind of that rad punk thing, you know, almost like scene a little bit. But very, very cute. And I think it goes really beautifully with this eyeshadow palette. So you know what? I think that the person who is going to be gravitating towards this color may not be the person who's gravitating towards this hair color, but this eyeshadow palette will go with basically anything. It's a really beautiful, neutral, slightly cool toned, earth tone palette that will be beautiful for work, be beautiful for real life. In 2021, I will begin ranking all of the palettes I review for this series. And what I'm using to rank them is how often do I actually grab these when I'm done filming this video. And so I actually grab the NARS Suede palette a lot as a base for a lot of my crazier accent color shadows. And then I grab this the second most. I really love this color story. I think it's really easy to work with, followed by the Wayne Goss Imperial Topaz, and then Making Mauves by ColourPop. But that's just me personally. This is not, you know, some kind of empirical system of measurement. It's literally just my opinion based on how often I'm grabbing these for my everyday looks. So obviously I think that this Taupe Craze palette from Lancome passes both of my tests. It's easy to wear. It's a great little holy grail palette if you just want one that you can wear every day that will go with anything. So before I end this video, I wanted to recommend a couple of eyeshadow palettes that go really well with this in particular if you want to play up this crazy color instead of trying to tone it down. And that is, well, my first go-to for recommending would be this Koi palette from Viseart. This palette is a miracle. All of these colors are really, really sheer. And so you can pack them on top of whatever it is that you're wearing to turn them into kind of like watercolor iridescent shades. Very, very beautiful palette here. Not a good standalone palette at all, but it's a perfect thing to accompany even something like this, because you could transform these nude neutral shades into something that's watercolored and very pretty and shimmery and has that vibrancy that will play up this. None of these colors are heavily pigmented. They're not meant to be. They're meant to go on top of other shades. If you can't afford the Viseart palette, because Viseart's a premium brand as well, another great idea would be something like this palette, the Never Give Up on Your Daydream palette from Essence. All of these colors are also very shimmery, very sheer, and they're meant to transform the base that you're wearing. So none of these are good standalone colors, but all of them can also double as a highlighter. So boom. I love multifunctional makeup. I like makeup that you can add to your makeup to make new makeup looks with your makeup. That's pretty sweet. So hopefully that has been helpful to you. If you have any questions at all, or you would like to see me touch on any topics in any of these videos in the future, please make sure you leave that in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye, everybody.